everybody, and welcome back to another Spirit Hunters Infinite Horde video. This video we will be going over a Fresh Start Part 2. This is the continuation of the first one, before I do some farming on my own, where we are showing off the, after first run, just the power that we unlocked with just the 2 size upgrades and some cooldown reduction and a damage. We also did unlock some pets. For this farming session, we will still be going with cleave, as I do love its ability. All of them have pretty much the same ability except for the bow, but because you can't get it to fire so much, and it is a little peculiar to aim, it's more of a hindrance, because you're like, oh, fire, 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 crap, I gotta move now, and then it fires once you move in the opposite direction. So I'm definitely not going to go with that to start. Later on, I will probably use this as well, but to start, we are going to go with cleave. Spears is also another very good choice, especially if you go for the Spears banner. However, we don't really need that banner, so to speak, right now. You can already see the cleave is, that 10%, it doesn't sound like much, 5% increases, but it really makes a huge difference right away. Plus we are doing 2 damage instead of the 1 that we were doing before, so both of these combined are phenomenal. And again, we can start going on cooldown, which I would love to do, but we are not going to do that quite yet. Again, same as before, we are going to just unlock all of the weapons first. That way, they are all contributing to our killing potential. And then we actually will start focusing on cleave a bit more than the rest, because the cleave ability now has that increased range. It is starting to get to not quite the powerhouse that it will be eventually, but it is substantially better already, just with that extra damage right off the bat, as well as the extra range that it has. Having the cleave have more range is obviously fantastic because of Vivian's ability giving it a 25% greater chance to drop these orbs. So while we can increase the arrow damage, we are going to go with a bit more size. We're going to focus on the size of the cleave and the damage of the cleave more than anything else. We want this to actually be able to save us at the end when we get surrounded by the skeletons, unlike last time where we sort of were just like, oh crap, here they come. Fingers crossed we can kill this boss, which we got, thankfully. And critical hit chance is nice, but we are going to focus on the defensive abilities. Again, while we are focusing on the cleave, it is not going to be a 100% pure focus, because none of the weapons are that good yet. So this speed increase does vastly, vastly, vastly improve the quality of our orbital fire. So I'm just going to focus on that for the time being. I would like to unlock our final ability, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. What? Unlock our final ability? Ugh, I am already so forgetful. We have unlocked all the abilities. I mean, I would like to unlock more damage and area just for the cleave. That is what I want. Damage, area, or just damage for the other weapons. That's pretty much my goal right now. Damage for weapons, and then damage and area for the cleave. Cooldown for the cleave will be very nice, but attack size right now is the main thing that I want, so I can definitely start carving through just bigger and bigger hordes of enemies, so I can get more experience with this cleave, because we need this experience in order to survive. So we have speed, crit, again, no damage, so we will take the cooldown, and the cooldown is nice. I mean, obviously, if we are focusing on the cleave, cooldown is going to help the most. It will get it down to a second per swing, which obviously double speed, double the good. It's just 10 levels to get there, and that's the problem. 10 massive levels to get to double the speed is going to be painful. Once we do get the banner, however, we will be going from the 2-second margin down to 1.5 seconds, which already that will be the immense upgrade. Again, same thing with the size. Getting that extra 5% per upgrade is going to be huge. As you notice, the 2 5% upgrades that we got from the beginning truly added up. Right now we can start to kill bigger and bigger groups of these, again, fly type things. More speed, more protection. So that is our goal. We are going to use the orbital fire for protection. Fingers crossed we get these strikes in when we need with the cleave, get a little bit more damage so we can start handling these mummies in 2 hits instead of 3, which is glorious. And boom, look at that. Cleave is already doing cleavey things. Very few upgrades, clearly. I do want that batch of experience on the right there, but I want that heart a little bit more right now. And thankfully, we picked up the spears as well. Now, a lot of people do like to focus on the spears first, and that, again, the spears are amazing. Cleave, once you get used to it and learn its sort of intricacies of how it has this arc and that goes down, so it has a little bit more of a downward swing, it really becomes very predictable. The real key is just learning the timing with whatever cooldown you're working with at the time. Now, we don't have the extended duration of elements on the floor, so that will hurt. Ooh. Get him hit a little bit. Ooh. Whomp. And turn there. Do want to try and hunt down some twisters, because those are going to be key to unlocking our 4th option. So we need to kill 100 twisters. Now more will spawn towards the end, so I'm not super worried about them right now. The more we can just kill just adds up, though. And cooldown on the spears would be very nice, but right now, with getting more size, when we do get surrounded, it will give us even more breathing room. And that is what we will ultimately need, is this breathing room when we get to the later phases. If we can get our damage to the point where it can one-shot the green scarabs as well, then it's going to provide an immense amount of reward for us. Thankfully, we do have more purple crystals, which I desperately need, so let us make sure we focus on that. As you can see, this run, because I have not been sort of equally upgrading damage, I also did not get as many equal opportunities to upgrade damage. It is harder to deal with these vines on the ground, but we are still handling them. The fire spirits, though, are... Where's all the damage at? It's all the other things. This is why that 4th option is amazing. So AoE size here, or just 1 more damage. Let's see, does 5 handle the vines? 5 does indeed handle the vines, which makes our cleave that much more potent, because now nothing, other than, I do believe the mummies have 6, can really stand in our way. We will take some cooldown, but with the lucky 3% chance to crit, we were able to take care of that mummy in our way as I walk into everything. And we're going to get our lovely, delicious set of crystals over here. Ooh. Damage of the spears and number of the spears. Again, our damage is 3. Most enemies will have around 6 health. They can get up to 10 with 10. 4 would push it over a threshold. However, 1 more spear, definitely I think more valuable than 1 more damage. Once we have a lot of spears, obviously, damage will be much more influential. It's one of those things where there's just thresholds that you have to hit or desire to hit. You don't have to, per se, but if you do hit them, then it just makes things that much more simple. Like this 6 damage is actually quite substantial. Unfortunately, we have all of these monstrous scarabs around us, but we are going to get a Slather, which 1 damage on everything. That is on each of our abilities. It goes so far in the early game that I do think it is probably the best pet early game to have. It's essentially 4 free levels that you are choosing damage for, which I wanted for most of my weapons to begin with already. Now, unfortunately, we still don't have near enough damage for these green scarabs, but with that in mind, we are getting quite close to the damage. I do believe that an orbital fire hit or an arrow hit with the cleave is enough to kill them, so that's fantastic. We are at the 719 mark, which is getting pretty close to where we were last time. I think I was at 8 something. I do believe it might have even been this style of wave. But as you can see, with the added damage that we've done, the cleave itself is already paying dividends. The size increase, the damage increase, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. We destroyed that boss as well, and don't really need the crit as much. I do want more speed, but let's get a little bit more damage, just because, again, it's all about these thresholds. You want to be able to kill an enemy versus just hit it more, because hitting it more is not going to be reliable. The speed is amazing on Orbital Fire, especially once it gets up there. It is a great shield, but if it's not killing the target, it's not going to do anything. So we really need to hit these thresholds. Now we have almost the threshold for the mummy. 7 is not quite it. I was mistaken. And we do now have these larger enemies. Now we are focusing again on the cleave, seeing how it takes us, and we are slowly getting surrounded by all of these lovely skeletons. But with that in mind, the cleave can handle huge waves, and getting surrounded by skeletons is actually to our benefit, as we are just gaining level after level after level, and I do want to reroll, but I want to save some money for a shop. I would love to buy some blue runes, because we know we will need at least 100 to buy a banner upgrade for the cleave, and that banner upgrade will take us immensely far. Either of the 2 banner upgrades early on are immense. Most of the banner upgrades in the early tier are fantastic, by the way. The spears get the +1 damage. Let's see, I think the Orbital Fire one is its speed, which is amazing. The speed is the most important stat outside of dot things once you get to the high tiers. So, and I want to say that the arrow is damage as well. I'd actually have to check my old video just to make sure, because I'm not 100%. But please, if you can, check that video out as well. I go over every single point for every weapon, just to make sure that people are aware of what you're looking to get. It's there, and I like to, apparently I'm long-winded, so, let's reroll. Let's reroll. We'll get a little bit more size here. Let's see, how do these, oh, look at that. Cleave's damage is enough at this point to handle the, cacti. Yes, as the plural of cactus, it is cacti. And again, the main reason I didn't focus on the cleave in the very first run was because right now we actually have 2 extra damage, 1 from the talent, 1 from the pet that we have unlocked, and those 2 things are actually going very far. Going from 6 to 8 damage, or getting to 6 damage, is pretty huge. Not to mention, again, the bigger size, the slightly reduced cooldown. You can get to this point, without a doubt, if you do get lucky with all of your levels, and cleave comes up, and cleave comes up, and cleave comes up, but I was trying to take the more balanced approach, and focus primarily on what I knew would work, which is that balanced approach. Now, did it win the very first run? Unfortunately, it did not. I can't say it did. It kind of sucks, but, 8 minutes or so on the very first run is honestly way better than I did the very first time I played. I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. I wasn't even thinking. And first time I ever got really surrounded, I was like, oh, wow, I don't have the damage to kill these big mummies. I don't have the damage to kill these vines. And just sort of, it all fell apart right there. But this 8 damage, again, thanks to the pet, thanks to the talents, we are able to kill these shell enemies, which are notoriously tanky in the early stages, with ease. So this is why we were focusing on the damage primarily for weapons. Because before we might not have been able to kill them with ease, but with 2 weapons doing 4 damage, we would have been able to take them down. Where just one weapon doing, say, 5 damage and a little bit faster would not take these down, and this would actually get very, very dicey at this point. So that's sort of the logic behind my thought process on what I did with my first run. I do still need to look around, but I want to get as much experience. I think right now my goal will be to see if we can actually take down the final boss. If we can take down this final boss, then we will be in a golden state, because he's going to drop more crystals and blue runes than I would have made in this entire run, finding as many chests as I could, because again, we don't have the increased chests, we don't have anything of that sort, so we are just focusing on getting what we can, and if killing the final boss happens, that will be the most bang for our buck. So farming experience is more valuable to me right now, assuming I can kill the final boss. If I cannot kill the final boss, then this is actually a lucrative waste of time, as I should be looking for those chests, just like I am currently looking for this boss chest, which will finally drop. I was saving money in case I can buy a pet or anything like that. Let's go with one more reroll, get some more cleave things, get this down to a usable point, and yes. Unfortunately, the worms do have more than 16 HP, so it does take more than 2 hits. But thankfully, they don't have that much more. So we are able to still handle them fairly well. We do have to protect ourselves, and we have this +1 HP or +1 damage to our spears, going to add up quite well. And the main thing I can not do right now is let these wasps destroy me. Probably the best thing to do is actually let a tornado hit me from time to time. It has that AoE explosion, which is fantastic. Kills all these little guys, and it just gives you that little bit of a break. It's one of those things that you don't really think about. You try and avoid everything, but the twisters can actually be a saving grace when you are really hard-pressed, surrounded by these fast, really weak enemies. It does enough damage to kill them all, and it basically is just a free level explosion, so to speak. I mean, I say free, it costs HP, obviously. But I'd rather trade a little bit of HP to eliminate all of the wasps around me than let a wasp stick on me and hit me 2 or 3 times, if that was the case. Or even hit me once. I believe the tornadoes will do more damage to the enemy than to you. Unfortunate, the mud man spawned directly on me, so he did get a couple of free hits in on me. But we have this attack size, we're doing pretty good. And yeah, for the second run, I cannot complain. I think we're in a pretty good state. Definitely not sure how we're going to handle with dealing with all the boss HP coming up. So I am worried with that. Again, the damage is quite lacking. We have very little in the way of actual protection. We're not attacking that quick with any real weapon. But I think we're in a pretty good state. I want to give it a go. I think it'll be fun. I should increase the damage of my arrow, but I just want that little bit more AoE protection in front of me. I love the cleave. Let's try and just knock off some experience here. We have a lot of guys following us, and we can really, hey, cleave through them. Go figure. It's like as the name entails. Oh, see, we got a little wasp on us. Those little wasps, those are the ones that can ruin my entire run here. The boss is coming up. I do need to find some health. I need a shop. I think that is what I need more than anything else. The shop will have some health. Might have a pet. I would take... what would I take right now? I don't even know, because we really don't need magnetism. I mean, I guess the movement speed will be nice on the final boss. Can't hurt. It's just too late for magnetism, which is why I don't really care about it. Again, it won't hurt to have, but, you know, we have Slither, which would be the one I would be looking for. Unfortunately, shops cannot upgrade pets. They only sell you new pets. So we will get more damage on our spears, because, again, if we were to reduce its cooldown right now, that's really not going to get us another shot. Whereas, here we go. We have to get through 600 health. He's about to charge. Let's get out of his way. Start targeting him. It's going to charge again. Keep it moving. We're in a pretty good state now that our cleave is going. Again, what's fantastic is the cleave has enough damage to kill off its adds. And we're pretty stable. The real key is, can we kill him before he gets 2 shots on us? Or the... that was just terrible of my part. We're doing it. Oh, I didn't think he tapped us. Oh, that was just poor play. That I am ashamed. I feel the shame. That was definitely doable. Ah, the pain. The pain of it all. But we got 214 blue runes, which is fantastic. 214 goes a very long way, increasing our cooldown reduction. And the question here is, we can't even get cooldown reduction 2 because we need a ton, or the banner for cooldown, because we need a ton of blue chickens. Unfortunately, we cannot do that. So we will definitely be going with the size upgrade. Twister-wise, we did get enough. So we will be going for the tornado, and we are only going for the tornado because now we know we have 100 blue or purple crystals for this upgrade. Now we will also want the hinterlands, but that is coming up next. I will probably unlock that, and then I'm going to start working on the other abilities. So next time you see this, I'll probably just do some farming. I'll have this upgraded, I'll have the hinterlands unlocked, and I'll probably have 1 or 2 of the other abilities maxed. I'll probably do some speed on the orbital fire and things like that. So thank you very much. Actually, let's actually start with the speed. I do like that just for that protection from the bugs. So thank you very much. I'm sorry I failed at the end. That was a terrible play on my part. But if you liked, please comment, subscribe. Again, I will be going through all of the unlock mobs. So again, we have the chickens. Here, the chickens are unlocked in the hinterlands normal mode and hard mode map. So from there, we will see what happens. We only need 3 more desert rinnies, which will be easy. So pretty much all of the first map is a gimme, for sure. But I will be going through every single one. The boom bugs here for the magic mines. And, well, Sandies, we have seen on the first map. The boom bugs, as we have not seen yet, are on the hinterlands as well. But thank you very much. Again, take care, and happy hunting. Popping back in at the end of the video, I just want to say this is the end of the following run that I have done. I am already a higher level than the previous run, and as you can see, these attack size increases have been going fantastic. I also swapped the arrow over to tornado. I just want to throw that out there. I do find that a little bit better when dealing with the hordes of little enemies, especially the bugs. But you can see just this one banner upgrade is immense for the cleave. It's all that really has been needed. We're still gaining levels at a very nice rate. Let's just see if we can maybe re-roll into another cleave damage or something. A little bit more crit. That is perfectly fine. Again, we are going to be using cleave for the final boss. So let's just see. Oh, I should have stayed in the mine. I got a little carried away with the talking. Perfectly fine, though. We are now boss time. We can hit him from much further away. We have nothing in our way. He's going to charge us any second. There we go. Let's just make sure we get out of the way. And again, we are doing significantly better. I am quite foolish, but I'm not worried in the slightest because we're going to put plenty of distance, so when he does charge, we will be able to move. And again, you can see the damage stacking up repeatedly, significantly easier. We do have Scoop this time. Didn't even matter. He did dig us up a heart, which was kind of nice. But look at all the resources. Significantly better by getting to the end and killing the boss. Does get us 350 here and 80. And just for the final proof, just to show the map itself, you can see that this is indeed the next run. I have not gained any other resources, and the map is still here. So that's all it took. Cleave is essentially online with this banner size plus 10%. It's ridiculous. And now I can, again, focus on the other things. I will definitely be getting more spears, more spear damage. We are getting a decent amount of crystals per run by being the boss, so we can already get our banner choice +1. And again, I will be unlocking this and a few other things in the next video, but I want some more resources. I just want to sort of max out these initial upgrades, and then we will go to the hinterlands and see how that goes. So, thank you very much again, and again, doubling up on the like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate it. It shows that there's some interest out there, and just thank you. Have a wonderful day, and happy hunting.